What's up, everybody? My name is Milan. I'm doing my first ever video travel blog. A friend of mine recommended it because I do a little bit of traveling, and I figured a video travel blog would be a little bit better. So this one is Cartagena, Colombia, South America, if I'm pronouncing that right. And forgive me if the video is a little rusty because I'm new at this. So I guess step one when making a video blog is make sure you have your phone in airplane mode, because I was just in the middle of making one and somebody called me and it cut it off and I had to start over. So Cartagena, Colombia, South America, great place. It's September, towards the end of September, and the weather is very hot and humid. It's about 90 plus the humidity. I come from Las Vegas where it's very dry, so I'm used to 100 to 110 degree weather, but dry heat is completely different than this. You will get very sticky, sweaty. Make sure you have a towel and a bunch of water. Stay hydrated or you'll fall out. So I'm just kind of like getting my stuff together while I'm making this, so I'm gonna keep pausing it and continuing. So I'm getting ready to head out so I can go out and eat and do some things in town. And I guess instead of making like a super long video from A to Z, look what just showed up on my window. I don't know what these things are, but that's kind of cool. I'll just make a couple separate videos. So I'll do like a shortened one so you can get a general overview of it, and then I'll do detailed like A to Z. Obviously make sure you have a valid passport. There's no visa required when you come here. So we researched that. You don't need any type of visa like you would if you went to India, for example. So just a passport, and don't ever get the expedited. The regular passport comes in the same amount of time. It took us about 3 weeks to get one. And I've had a passport for a while, but mine was expired. And this past summer we went to Europe, and I was worried that we wouldn't have it in time, but it took about 3 weeks from the time you get to the post office, make your appointment and do your thing, 3 weeks to get it in the mail. And then as far as the airline ticket, Spirit Airlines is a garbage airline for sure. They charge you for luggage, they charge you for everything. They don't even give you peanuts, nothing to drink. They charge you for every little thing. But if you're traveling on a budget, I would recommend Spirit Airlines. If you can put up with not having seats that recline, if you can put up with no leg room and nothing to eat, nothing to drink, and stuff like that, but you'll save a lot of money. So if you're trying to come in style and whatnot, you know, by all means spend the money, do what you gotta do. I would rather stretch my dollar and use the money more for, you know, a more comfortable place to stay. Like I got this 3-bedroom penthouse type of deal with a nice view, and yeah, I can tolerate a little bit of a discomfort on the plane. It took me 5 hours from Vegas to Fort Lauderdale, and then Fort Lauderdale to Cartagena, and I used some miles, so it was pretty inexpensive. It took me about 25,000 miles and about 180 some bucks. Plus I did the $16 travel insurance, so if you get sick or miss your flight or anything like that, I think it's worth it. But let's see, what else? I booked it last minute too. That's a good thing about Spirit Airlines. Like I decided to come here the morning of, and that same day I flew out at about 10:30 at night, and I got to Fort Lauderdale at 6 a.m. and then I had to wait for about 3 hours, and then finally made it over here at 1:30 in the afternoon. You don't want to rent a car here. Rental cars are expensive. The Priceline prices look really cheap. I mean, in Costa Rica, my car was $4 a day. I did rent a car over there in Costa Rica 2 weeks ago. $4 a day, but where they get you is on the insurance. I got it from Priceline, and Priceline has an option where you can add $11 a day for the extra coverage for the vehicle, the full protection, but that's BS because it doesn't work in foreign countries for some reason. Priceline should know better. So I had a $4 a day rental car for like a Jeep, and me and my buddy, we get there and they say, yeah, it's, you know, whatever it is for your reservation, but they have to add about $30, $40 for the insurance. They have a couple different levels. I think it was like 25, 28, and 30. So, I mean, if you're spending that kind of money, you might as well just go get the 30. I mean, you could drive your Jeep off the cliff and you're totally covered. If you hit somebody else, liability, whatever. So, you know, you're gonna spend the $30 plus the tax and the $4 a day. So in a place like Costa Rica, I would recommend it because, you know, when you land in San Jose, you got to drive about an hour and a half minimum to get to anywhere decent. We went to Jaco Beach, and it's an hour and a half drive, so that'll be pretty expensive by cab. So in a place like that, you know, for sure, get a rental car. But in this place, Cartagena, taxis are cheap as hell. The conversion rate, it's $1. I guess the legal rate today is 2,920 pesos, Colombian pesos to $1. But the ATM, the money change places, Western Union and all that stuff, nobody will give you more than 2,600 for $1. In other places, like the airport rips you off, so you go into town, you change your money, and you get a much better rate. But over here, it's the same rate everywhere. It's 2,600 to $1. So even if you swipe your credit card, in most instances, you'll get a better rate. But over here, ATM card, credit card, Western Union, airport, outside mom and pop money exchange places, it's all the same. It's 2,600 to $1. And this is September 2016. I didn't know where I'm staying. I didn't know what I'm doing. I just kind of, last minute deal. So I checked out the hotels on that side of the water and on this side. And for, you don't want to stay at anything less than a 4-star, but you got to be careful with the 4 stars because sometimes they sneak in these little condos and apartments and you don't get all the amenities of a hotel. So make sure you are, if you want to stay in a hotel with other people, make sure you are getting a hotel and not a condo or somebody's place because they do squeeze those in on Hotwire, Priceline, and whatnot. So airfare, Spirit Airlines, unless you want to do something more luxurious, more comfortable. But like I said, I was trying to save money, so Spirit Airlines. And then as far as a place to stay, I did not do the hotel thing because it's about $100 give or take for a 4-star hotel. I feel like I got a lot more from Airbnb. This is my second time using Airbnb. The first time was in Paris, France, earlier this summer. And I got a 2-story condo in a nice neighborhood. So you feel like you've traveled. You're in the middle of a French neighborhood and doing French things and not so touristy. Over here, I ended up doing the Airbnb thing. So I got a 1-bedroom with like a living room, dining room, kitchen, balcony, and all that stuff. I was on that side of the water the first night, and the whole deal for 3 nights was $355. It's $100 a night plus Airbnb charges a cleaning fee and whatever other fees, but it came to $355 for 3 nights, which isn't too bad given the size of the place and everything. Some people like going to hostels. They're about $20 a night because you get to stay with other people, but you're like basically, it's like military basic training. You're going to stay in a place that has, maybe 6 to 8 people staying in there as well in bunk beds, and they feed you breakfast in the morning. I don't like doing stuff like that. So for some people, if you're going solo and you want to meet people and whatnot, you might want to try a hostel, even though I'm sure you can afford more than that, but you save money, you get to meet people and stuff like that. I'm a little different, and by the way, this is my first solo trip. I usually go with friends or family or whatever, but not too bad for my first solo trip. But I still didn't want to do a hostel. I'm not looking to hook up with anybody, or I'm not a big partier, so just wanted to come out and kind of experience the culture of this place, the music, the food, everything is pretty amazing. So anyway, so Airbnb, in my circumstance, the hot water wasn't working. Make sure with these people, because they said 80% of the places in Cartagena do not have hot water. So when you're booking anything outside of a hotel, you always want to read the fine print, make sure that there's Wi-Fi, make sure there's hot water. Laundry facilities are nice, you don't have to travel back with dirty clothes. So, I like to do laundry and go back with clean clothes and not stink up the rest of my luggage. So even though they told me there was hot water, we get there's no hot water. And I'm not a big complainer, but, and I don't mind taking a cold shower, but when you're paying $100 a night, you want to get what you pay for. So I complained about the hot water, and I wanted to check out the next morning and just get a different place, but the guy was pretty awesome. He's got like 30, 40 properties here in Cartagena, and he offered me an upgrade to a 3-bedroom penthouse type of deal. It's got, full kitchen, laundry, this, that, and the other. So forgive me, I'm getting my stuff together while I'm doing this vlog so I can get out of here and go get something to eat in the town. So I would definitely recommend an Airbnb. You can go the hotel route, or you can go the hostel route. What else? For your cell phone, make sure, I have Sprint, I don't know about the other companies, make sure you have the international plan, otherwise you will get screwed on your cell phone bill when you get back home. So these days, I guess most cell phone companies have an international plan for like South America, Mexico, stuff like that. You just have to let them know there's no extra monthly charge. I'll just tell you about Sprint. With Sprint, there's no extra monthly charge. It's unlimited talking, unlimited text, and you get 1 gig of data, so try to jump on Wi-Fi wherever you can. Sprint told me that I don't know how I went over, but they said I'm at like 6 gigs. So it's $30 a gig after the first gig. So 5 extra gigs, plus I still have 1 day. So I'll probably be at like 6 or 7 extra gigs at $30 a gig, but that's BS. So I'm gonna fight that with Sprint when I get back, because I had it on Wi-Fi. Don't know what happened. I have Google Photos, so you might want to make sure that you have Google Photos set to upload pictures only when you're charging and not when you're roaming. Don't know what else would have caused it, but anyway, enough about that. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the thing and I'll answer it. I don't mind putting my number out there either, it makes no difference. I have a few businesses in Las Vegas, so my phone's blowing up with other stuff. The best way to reach me is by text, 702-359-4444. Once again, 702-359-4444. Don't call because it's going to be forwarded to the office, but the best way to reach me is to shoot me a text, and when I get a free moment, I'll write you back if you have any other questions that I didn't include in the video. But I'm just trying to cover everything, so you got it down. Oh yeah, I was talking about the exchange rate. So the taxis from the airport to here, it's supposed to be 15,000 pesos. They got over on me a little bit. He told me 20. I'm not going to argue with him about 5,000. So it's basically, I just do the math as every 2,500 is a buck. So $10 $10,000 is $4. So you just use that instead of pulling out your calculator every time you're trying to do something. So I just get a round number and do it that way. So that means it costs me $8 to go 20 minutes from the airport to the place. Not too bad. And then I learned that if you want to actually rent a car by the hour, it's super cheap here. It ends up being $7.50 in US dollars. You get the driver, the taxi, whatever. He'll wait outside for you wherever you go, and that way you don't have to keep getting a cab. So if you want to just get that headache out of the way, I don't know what type of budget everybody's working with, but if you want to get that out of the way, just pay the $7.50 per hour and you have a driver all day, and it'll take you to wherever you want to go. I did that the first actually yesterday, but today I'm just going to do it the other way. I'm just going to grab a taxi, go in town, do what I got to do, because I don't know how long I'm going to be there. So from here to the other side, it's going to cost me about 8,000 pesos, so not too bad. So super cheap. I would do that. The traffic here is a little crazy. People drive like worse than New York. So if you don't want to get into an accident and you're not good with high stress situations, just get a taxi, make your life easier. Try to sit in the front. You will get motion sick because none of the cars here have shocks. They're little tiny pieces of crap cars that they use to get around. I guess that's how they can afford to do it for the price that they can. So without the shocks, if you sit in the back seat, and I've got a tough stomach, and I threw up yesterday from motion sickness. Sit in the front seat if you can in a taxi. You'll feel less motion sickness. So I'm getting ready to go out into town. I got a few other things to do before I get out of here. You always want to bring a backpack. It's a lot easier. So I'm just going to put the stuff that I need, some of their money, my cards, ID, passport. Never bring it with you if you can lock it in the safe. Because if you get jacked or pickpocketed or whatever, you don't want to not be able to get home. So I like to leave my passport and the bulk of my cash in the safe, and I just take with me what I think I'm going to use. I forgot which bedroom the safe's in. Let me see. Yeah. I also bring a charger with me. A lot of places that I go to eat, they might have a outlet there so you can recharge. I highly recommend one of those external battery things. I carry 2 of them just in case. I never want to be without juice. I take like one of these guys, headphones, charger, and this is my other external deal. So you want to get at least a 20,000 milliamp. And maybe I'm a little off, but I carry 2 cell phones just in case. When I went to Europe, they actually cut off my phone because I went over the data thing and they thought it was fraud. I didn't get it fixed until I came back to the US, so thank God I had a second cell phone. the money gets a little confusing because like the 1,000 looks a lot like the 10,000 and the 2,000 looks a lot like the 20,000. So just be careful. I think this is the largest bill, 50 mil pesos, which is 50,000. Oh, I forgot to mention, you also want to make sure that the place has air conditioning. So I know in Paris, even though the place was really awesome, it wasn't customary for a place to have air conditioning because it gets pretty cool at nighttime in Paris, even in the summertime. So daytime was a little bad, but we were outside traveling all day, so it wasn't too much of an inconvenience. But make sure, you know, the things that you're used to at home are not like that in other countries. So just make sure there's air conditioning, washer, dryer, Wi-Fi if you need it, and of course hot water. I was surprised to see that 80% of the places here did not have hot water. Okay, so I'm gonna take my backpack, my bottled water, got my cell phone stuff, and the valuables you put in your pocket just in case somebody's trying to pickpocket you or go into your bag. I always take a little towel. I don't know, maybe I just sweat a lot, so that's what happens when you're a fat boy. Okay, and the key to the spot. Look at this crazy door. Like this is like a bank vault. Don't want to lose that. They charge like $20 for any keys that you lose. Also, keep your larger bills in one pocket and the smaller ones on the other side. So that way, when you have to pay for something, if you have to pull out your wad in front of everybody, you just made yourself a target to get robbed. So I always keep like a little bit in my right pocket and the big knot in the left, even though I left most of my money at the house. So always keep that in mind. I'm telling you, people are looking for targets. Pickpocketing is huge. I don't think there's too much violent crime over here, even though Colombia's got a bad rep. But I know that was like back in the 80s. A lot of stuff has been cleaned up since, but you know, why take any chances if you don't need to? So your big money, the larger bills in the left pocket and some small stuff in the right. And that way when you pay for stuff, they don't see you pulling out a big wad. I always try to leave some room in the bag. So, you know, you take your necessities, but if you go shopping and you grab anything, you know, I also don't like to show people what I have, so I'll take it from the store and try to tuck it in my book bag if there's room. If it's something larger, you know, I'll come back here. It's inconvenience, but I'll come drop it off and then go back out. So I don't want to give anybody any reason or temptation to rob me. I almost forgot one of the most important things, Zika virus. So put this on. Zika is spread from mosquitoes. Prevent the mosquitoes from biting you and you should be okay. So let me put this stuff on. You know, on second thought, I'm gonna take my passport and my cash with me. I just realized that the balcony door doesn't close, so that's no good. I don't want somebody crawling in here when I'm not here, and they might not steal the whole thing. They might skim off the top and make you think that you're just imagining shit, but yeah, so I'm not gonna take any chances. I'll just put this in my cargo pocket. See that? Nice little 3-bedroom. And a cheesy hat. Nobody knows you here. You can look goofy. I'm more about function than how I look, so got a little goofy hat in my backpack that covers everything. Got my book bag, cell phones, money, keys. I'm good. So, seriously. So I don't know the name of much out here, so I'll just tell them I want to go to, you know, the casino or whatever that's close to where I was staying before. This place is a little bit more quiet on this side of the water. It's kind of like the Baltimore Harbor, where they have all the boats and stuff like that, but there's not too much. When you go the other side by the beach, that's where all the restaurants, casinos, stuff like that. It's a great place to get services done. So if you want to get manicures, pedicures, haircuts, all that stuff is is pretty cheap. The labor rate is low. So I went to a really good place yesterday to get a haircut, and haircut was about $10, $8.